I mean, if you could see my face when I was scrolling through social media this week and Becky Lynch is going after me on Twitter and Instagram, I could not believe it. So, as soon as Monday Night Raw was over, Becky Lynch was an all-star on social media. She was going crazy on Twitter, going full caps, very reminiscent of other classic social media users, but starts to, go after Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce is posting screenshots with voicemail after voicemail after voicemail. She's going after Adam Pearce, writing tweet after tweet after tweet. One of them wrote, Adam Paranoid Pearce, worst GM in the history of the WWE, knows I have a great case against him. Moody Maxine and absolute joke AJ. Instead of taking accountability, he wants to send me a fake number. This was after Becky Lynch insisted on getting Adam Pearce's phone number, and Adam Pearce sent her a phone number that led to a Rickroll, a viral internet prank that I feel like still is very funny. She writes, is this the type of leadership? This is now in all caps. The WWE Universe wants running Monday Night Raw. I insist you return my phone calls immediately or I'll have no choice but to demand your removal as general manager. She said that she was walking around New York City. She was going to every lawyer's office that she could find. They all wanted to take the case. She was wearing a big, fluffy, furry coat, giant shoulders, drinking a matcha, drinking a coffee, going, every lawyer says they want to take this case on because AJ Lee had no legal right to be at ringside as she does not have a managerial license. And the New York State Athletic Commission requires wrestling managers and people around the ring that are there to support to have managerial licenses, which honestly, they probably do. The New York State Athletic Commission, probably knowing how difficult it is, probably does have that somewhere in the fine print somewhere. But yeah, so she's on this tirade, and then she starts writing to Maxine. Messy Maxine Dupree, all caps, by the way. Messy Maxine Dupree. Remember, when she ran a modeling agency, which was terrible, by the way, no style, no glam, did AJ Loser Lee hire Maxine to help dress her husband total lightweight, terrible shoes in exchange for the interference? Please look into this matter, Adam Pearce. The fans deserve a real champion and not a runway reject. I mean, going all the way back to Max and Maxine Dupree. I mean, nobody. Max Dupree is not around. The male models are not around, but Maxine Dupree is still around, and she's bringing back the past. She's letting the past haunt her. And so, Becky Lynch is going to town, and it was very interesting because I kind of thought that after Monday went down, I mean, look, from a wrestling rules point of view, Becky Lynch does not have a case, AJ Lee never even actually got to the ringside. She just stood in the aisleway. And Becky Lynch was so distracted that Maxine Dupree was able to hit the crossbody and win the match. But I'm being entertained by all this. I love watching people crash out. They talk about social media and the fact that social media ruins kayfabe. Well, I would say that social media can be a wonderful storytelling device. That was until I somehow got dragged into this in the classic 50 Cent meme, what you say F me for, started flashing through my head. Because, over on Notsam Wrestling Live on SiriusXM, we talk about stuff every day. We talked about Maxine walking through the streets of New York with a matcha. We talked about all kinds of stuff all week long. But on Thursday, we opened the show with a conversation about the fact that Triple H had posted graphics for this year's War Games match. And you know that I love when graphics get posted because we hint towards what the matches are going to be. We look at these altercations on television and we go, well, clearly this is the match. Clearly that is the match. I go, has there been a graphic? And I'll scroll through social media accounts. And if no graphic has been posted, I'll say, well, I can't say that that match is happening. I can say that match is probably happening. I can say it looks like that match is happening. But until I see a graphic, I don't know that match is happening. And beyond that, and we'll talk about all this in a couple minutes, but beyond that, the graphic and the placement of where the superstars on the men's babyface and the men's heel War Games team were placed was very, very interesting and a cause for conversation. And when there is a cause for conversation in the world of professional wrestling, we'll leave it to a pro wrestling talk show to address that cause for conversation. And that's exactly what I did. I opened Thursday's show talking in depth about the graphic. As a matter of fact, I felt so strongly about the conversation that was had about the graphic that I made that our Notsam Wrestling update. If you look on Friday morning, I want to say, the podcast that went up, the video that went up, was all about that graphic that was posted. That's how strongly I felt about the conversation surrounding the War Games graphic. But apparently it was not good because I'm sitting there, right? And I'm not going to tell you what I was doing when I read Becky Lynch's Instagram. But I will tell you it was something in the privacy of my own home. I will tell you I was in a small room by myself sitting down. And I will tell you it's the one bit of privacy that you have in a house when you're raising 3 children. That's where I was when I read this Instagram that came in from Becky Lynch. And I'm scrolling through Instagram, right? And all of a sudden, I see my face. I see the photo logo for the Notsam Wrestling Live program, the SiriusXM program, the very logo that would pop up on the SiriusXM app. And I go, what app am I opening here? You know how sometimes when you're flipping and flapping and sliding around your phone, swiping and doing God knows what? You don't know, you open the wrong app, people post the wrong thing, they butt dial, who knows? So I go, is the wrong app open on my phone? I go, no, this is still Instagram. I go, whose account is this? Is this my account? Am I posting the wrong stuff? Did I like have an image open in my photos and then I accidentally posted on Instagram? Do I have to delete something here? I go, no, I didn't do this. And I'm scrolling up and it says Becky Lynch on top. It's Becky Lynch's Twitter name on top. And I'm going like, is like the screen frozen where it's showing like, you know, the top is Becky Lynch, but there's a bug, right? It's buggy. It's Becky Lynch's name, but it's a different thing. It's my podcast app. It's my Sirius app that's open, and both apps are somehow open on the same time. I say, no, because this is scrolling. I go to Becky Lynch, tweet out the graphic of my show, and as it turns out, I had no idea. Becky Lynch, and I'm basing this, I've not had a conversation with Becky, but I am basing this on the information that was presented to me. Becky Lynch is an avid Notsam Wrestling listener. She listens to the podcast. She listens to the Sirius show. I think she might even listen to the morning show as well. When she doesn't want to hear about wrestling, she goes, what's Sam's take on other issues of the day? Oh, Sam and the guys in studio in the morning and Danielle, they're all so great, I think she says. I think. And that's not just me saying it. But I had no idea. Like, you know, I'm a fan of Becky Lynch. I did not know that we were in the Mutual Admiration Society. And I appreciate that. And I started to feel a twinge of guilt because I don't like upsetting my listeners. You know, I like here on this podcast, I like providing my listeners with the type of quality content that they want to hear. But apparently Becky Lynch, avid Notsam Wrestling listener, which you can add that. You can go, Becky Lynch, longest reigning WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion of all time. Becky Lynch, former, Women's World Champion, WWE, like, oh, yeah, the man, WrestleMania main eventer. You go, WrestleMania main eventer, avid Notsam Wrestling listener, Becky Lynch, this is who we're talking about on Twitter and on Instagram, because she did it on both, tweets out, Instagrams out, hard post, not a story, hard post. Okay, it's on the account. It's a hard post. She writes a graphic. This is all caps. A graphic? A War Games graphic? This is the lead story. Terrible reporting from No Talent Sam. The lead story should be how your favorite wrestler, me, was robbed. Sleazy Sam must not hide the truth from the WWE universe. This is the biggest story in the last 50 years, and this is the type of reporting we get. No wonder his ratings are the worst they've ever been. Sirius, you must fire him immediately. So a couple of things. First of all, not a reporter. Don't claim to be a wrestling reporter. I'm just a guy with an opinion. I like to give my take and hopefully entertain you in the process. Number two, I don't think that that's true about my rating. Sirius doesn't have a public ratings system that gets published in any way, shape, or form. But I've only heard positive feedback about both shows that I'm doing at Sirius, about the morning show and about the wrestling show. I've heard very positive things. In fact, so positive that management doesn't want to talk to me too much because they don't want to give me too much ammunition. You know what I mean? They don't want to tell me exactly how well that I'm doing, but I'm only hearing very good things. And by the way, one person who's listening a lot, they say, is former women's intercontinental champion Becky Lynch, listening all the time. You know, and I get text messages from people while they're listening to the show, and I think it's such a great thing. But Becky Lynch is a biggie. I hope that Sirius does not fire me. I mean, to wish that somebody loses their job, especially someone with 3 children. I don't think that that's a very nice thing to do at all, especially since I had covered, Becky Lynch's Twitter hijinks earlier in the week. But I was flabbergasted. I started texting people immediately. I started texting everybody on the Pro Wrestling Nation channel. Everybody, but I didn't even have to text Megan Morant at Tu Brute. Somebody who I thought was a great friend of mine, Megan Morant, she tweets out Scam Roberts. She wrote Scam Roberts in the Instagram comments. She said, a lot of people call him Scam Roberts, something like that. I said, I can't believe this, Megan. You do a show with me. Why would you say this? Why? She loves Becky Lynch, but come on, Megan. She didn't have my back whatsoever, by the way, Megan Morant, which... we will end up addressing that on the Raw recap, I'm sure. But that has to be spoken about. And so she posts this on Instagram, does Becky Lynch. She tweets it as well. So she tweets an image listening to my great show. She tweets about it as well. I'm sure she's listening to this right now. Maybe she'll send this image out as well. Maybe a clip, something like that. And, is in a rage. I can't believe it. And at first, I'm not replying. But then I get the call, and, reporters start hitting me up. They go, we want to hear, your side of the story here, as is good. And the only one that I respond to is Busted Open Radio. Busted Open, they hit me up, and I don't do radio on Fridays. And they go, hey, it's your day off. I know, but will you do the show? I said, of course. Fired up the Notsam studio, jumped on the ISDN line, and talked to Dave LaGreca and Bully Ray about what had happened. And they asked my opinion about it and everything. I gave my opinion about it. And I even made a clip. I made a clip myself. Because, I record on my end too. I made a clip. I posted it out there because I thought Dave and Bully had done a fabulous job, as they always do on the show. I post the clip, put it on Instagram, put it on Twitter so that people could see my side of the story. I said, let it be at that. I don't need to get in some kind of flame war. And then Becky Lynch sends another tweet. She sent another tweet, and not only does she send this tweet, but she leaves this as a comment on my Instagram account after I post the clip. And she writes, deranged Dave LaGreca and Scam Roberts. She took Megan's nickname. Megan, who I have not only had such a wonderful time doing the Raw recap with. I hosted episodes of The Bump with her. I hosted episodes of last year when they were still doing, instead of Raw recap, we were doing Raw Talk. I was hosting that with her. Invited her into my home multiple times. On a weekly basis for months. Invited her into my home. Invite her up to the show at SiriusXM. Invite her into that studio. Invite her into the basement studio. Every studio I've got, I say, let me share it with you, Megan. And what does she do? She gives Becky Lynch ammunition. Can you believe that? That's not great. She used to give kidneys to people, Megan Maria. You know that? Can you believe that? I don't know what happened. Very negative. But Becky writes, deranged Dave LaGreca and Scam Roberts wouldn't know anything about ratings. This was after Dave said maybe Becky Lynch should be worried about her own ratings on Monday Night Raw. They're probably dipping themselves. I said, I don't want to get into that. That's ugly talk. I don't want to get involved in ugliness, begetting ugliness. And I said, for the record, when they go low, we go high is my thing. She says, I have the greatest ratings in the history of ratings. They call me Ratings Rebecca. It's true. I have never heard that nickname for Becky Lynch before. Not once. Not even in a Megan Morant tweet. Never. By the way, you could turn Morant into a very insulting word. All you have to really do is take off the T. And, put another O in. But I'm not going to do that. Dave, she writes, deranged Dave hasn't been relevant since he wore that pink robe. Terrible look. SiriusXM, please fire these two delusional dummies and hire me if you want a successful show. And oh my God. I mean, I knew that SiriusXM was into stars, like having big stars and stuff. So I'm going like, this is the second time that Becky Lynch has tweeted out about wanting me to be fired. That's absurd. It's insulting. And then the SiriusXM Sports official account goes, come by the studio and go for a trial run. I'm like, I just wrote WTF. What are you doing? Are you so eager to get somebody in studio that you'll throw your host under the bus? I go, why is the SiriusXM Sports? If the SiriusXM Sports account should be saying, Becky, now you can't come on Sirius. You can't go with these guys. They go like, oh, instead of going, let's put ourselves on a pedestal. Let's put ourselves in this high position. Well, we have a great platform that we will no longer share with you because of what you're saying. No. Instead, they go, oh, will you please come do our show? Will you please come in studio? Will you please? Hey, why don't you back up me and Dave LaGreca a little bit? All we're doing is creating the content that allows this thing to keep going. And by the way, created this whole buzz. And you're kissing the Becky Lynch rings. I was very insulted by that. Very insulted by that. Then, wait till you hear this. They put out a War Games graphic for the women's War Games match after it's made on SmackDown. On SmackDown, we found out what the women's War Games match was officially going to be, and a graphic came out. And I love when a graphic comes out, and of course, I will be discussing that graphic here today. But then Becky Lynch tweets it and says, now that's a graphic. What a great night for the WWE Universe, but most importantly, me. The greatest of all time, and it's not me saying it. Everybody says it. The boss says it, which I don't even think Sasha Banks has commented on this at all. But I think that all this graphic talk started with yours truly, me. And now she's going the graphic route on this. I mean, like, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I don't know how I get wrapped up in stuff like this. I don't know how it happens. I mean, I try to do the right thing. I try to do a good job. I try to create compelling and entertaining content that is ultimately rooted in the celebration of all things professional wrestling. And still, this is what I got to deal with. So this is what I've been dealing with, and I wanted to get you guys up to speed on everything that I've been dealing with.